What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Games Talk Live. I just was barely able to squeeze out, getting a tweet out to say, hey, we are live. Of course, every week, I've got Hargeet Chani here. Hargeet, how has your week been, and what have you been up to, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, my week's been good enough. I finished Kena Bridge of Spirits just like about half an hour ago, something like that.
What'd you think about that?
It was okay. It was good enough, I suppose. I don't know. It wasn't
Really?
anything
Yeah,
groundbreaking, but it
dude,
was okay.
I had buyer's remorse with that. I bought it and
Yeah.
I couldn't get into the world. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, or if you had a different opinion here, but I felt like the world was lacking. Like it just seemed kind of there was nothing around, not much going on,
Yeah.
and like when you did encounter things to fight. I didn't really like those little things, those little creatures that you fought with and stuff. I just didn't care for it.
Yeah, the
It
rot.
wasn't for me. The rot.
Yeah, it was more puzzly, which is fine for me. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was okay, whatever. I don't know.
Mad in the chat said, "We're on time. What the hell?" Yeah, I know for once, right? Oh man, you know what? It's like you go to the RDX time slot, and yeah, you're back on that RDX time again. We were always late. But no, we're not late because it's just me and Hargeet tonight. I don't think anybody else is going to be jumping on, but we had a guest. He just didn't show, yeah. So anyways, it doesn't matter. Yeah, as for me, I have not been playing much in the way of games this week. I haven't played anything this week. I've been involved in my other new hobby that I've been really involved with, which is I bought this video camera, and I've been, studying to try to do videography and stuff. And I've been watching a ton of YouTube videos. I've been recording stuff. I've been color grading stuff. I'm like trying to learn how to like master that, because color grading, I mean, you may think it's like really easy, but it is not easy to get skin tones, the right colors and stuff. It's tough. So I've been having a lot of fun with that, though. So in my spare time, when I go, like we're planning on a camping trip, the family and everything, a bunch of extended family coming and everything. I want to make like this big old, film like thing, for my, home videos and stuff, but make it really cool and epic. So plan on doing that kind of stuff. And then also branching out and trying to do some videography for, to get paid to actually do events and stuff. So plan on that as well. So it's a fun hobby, but it's also one that's very expensive. Holy crap. That, you guys don't even want to know that the pricing on these lenses and stuff. It's that the freaking SD cards alone are crazy. So anyways, so that's what I've been doing lately. But I've had my ear to the street on when it comes to these games and these gaming topics we're going to be getting in tonight, because I am not stopping playing games. Matter of fact, I am looking so forward to playing Crimson Desert, Hargeet. I keep seeing more and more of this game, and it just interests me more and more. I don't know if you've seen some of the footage, but man, it looks incredible. Digital Foundry did a video on it the other day. Did you see that, by the way? Or no?
No.
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 The technical aspect of this game is where like it really shines. Again, I've mentioned it
Cool.
before. They're using their proprietary engine, and it just performs very well. And they were showing like the different like performance with all the graphics and the bells and whistles. You've got that steady 60 frames using ray tracing and all this, and it just looks gorgeous. So can't wait to play that.
Right. Right.
Oh,
Right.
oh,
Right.
my thing is just going off, man. I'm telling you, dust or something got in there, and that button will just go off from time to time. It spooks me sometimes. Yeah, I'll be sitting here in the middle of the night watching some videos or something, and all of a sudden I hear right in my ear, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell? What's that about? So Magnum in the chat says, are we apologizing for Jeff? Now we'll get into that. We'll definitely get into that. Yeah. So Hargeet, I don't know if you've heard, but High Guard is officially shutting down.
Oh,
High Guard's officially shutting down.
okay.
So March 12th, it's right around the corner. And this is just 45 days from launch. This title is already gone. So apparently they're going to put out one more update.
It did better than this.
Did it really? That lasted less than 45 days?
It was 10 days, I think.
Whoa, that's right, man.
And then they shut it down after 14, like, so they gave it a few more days. So after 10 days, they said, we're done.
Yeah, so apparently the developers are going to put out one last update before they close down for good. And I'm just like, okay. I mean, it's kind of a, one of those things where I don't think they've learned their lesson necessarily, because I think that it's still in their head. It was all gamers to blame. I really don't think that it's sunk in that the game just wasn't good enough to stick around. And we can, I mean, the same thing looks like it might even happen to Marathon, because they had their server slam this weekend and it only got up to like 143,000, I think, was the max concurrent on Steam. And yeah, I'm just using them as a barometer here. Of course, there was some on console and stuff, but that's pretty telling. And it tapered off really quickly. Like the very next day, it wasn't even half that. Like people started just dropping. And we're talking about a server slam where it's free. Now it comes out on the 5th, but they're going to have to pay $40 for it. And the ones who return, I just don't think there's going to be very many of them, Hargeet. I really don't.
We'll see. I mean, I'm certainly not looking for them to fail or anything, but you can kind of gauge interest is way higher than this. I'll just say that it's way higher than this. This was in the couple of thousands range, something like that, right? And then when it launched, I want to say it was under 1,000 people were playing or something like that. And this is, of course, just on one platform, right? This is on Steam. There's obviously the PlayStation as well, but it was enough that they said, to hell with it. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, I don't know. Marathon at least has more players playing it, so maybe it'll have enough of a fan base to sustain it. We'll have to just see, right? So it is coming out on everything though, right? They don't have a Switch 2 port yet, right? I don't know if they have a Switch 2.
No, I don't think so.
If it's successful enough, I'm sure they'll put it there, but
yeah, and to your point though, like, yeah, there's going to be people playing it, but even if you have, let's say, 50,000, between 50 and 80,000 playing the game day one, how long will that be sustainable? Because eventually that's going to taper off as well. I mean, unless they do, by some miracle, they figure out, hey, let's do this differently. Let's change this up. Let's add this mode. I doubt that happens. And it's sad for Bungie because, like you said, I don't want to see him fail either, because this may be it for Bungie.
Yeah, it could be. There's a lot of closures going on at PlayStation these days, right? So, I mean, Destiny's still got some following, right? So, who knows what they're gonna do, man? Like, so good luck to the team. It's a couple of days away. We'll find out this weekend how well it does, right? So, and I think the real point to what you're saying, Fonz, is how does it do after like 6 weeks? Is it still alive, or is it like the beginningness buzz or whatever? Like the newness buzz is gone. And then it's basically back to the Fortnites and the Apexes and all that stuff, right? In this case, the Tarkov and Arc Raiders, which seem the Arc Raiders still doing pretty well, right? So
yeah, DJ Marshman said that Marathon is top 2 on Steam and top 3 on PlayStation Store pre-orders. Now, one thing I have to add there too, though, because I've seen people use this metric before. What else is coming out this week? You have to add. You have to put that into context, because if there's not a lot going on and there's no big games coming out, and it's really the top
what's
big game
ahead of it,
it's probably going to be in the top 3, top 5. I've seen this with another game not too long ago, and it didn't sell well at all. I forgot what it was, but I remember thinking to myself, really, it's top 2, top 3? And then we saw the final numbers and it was crap. So that does happen. But yeah, I don't want to see it fail, because didn't Bungie have like some sort of contract with Sony that if they didn't do well, that Sony could freaking do what they want with their studio?
Which I think they're already at that point.
They already took away a single player game from them that they were wanting to make.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, looking back, I was reading stuff from years ago. Bungie, in fact, wanted to start making more single player IP. It was Sony that said, no, you're going to continue with live service.
Shocking.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a problem right now in the industry with live service games. Look, they're all chasing that trend. They all want a big, hitter. They want to make big bucks off of this. But at the end of the day, you have to have something really solid. Unfortunately for Bungie and Marathon there's already that solid game out there that everybody seems to be still loving, and that's Ark.
Yeah, out of nowhere, right? It basically took their lunch. Unfortunately,
yeah,
came out right around the same time, and it's really doing pretty well. Yeah, it's disappointing to me that they didn't do the campaign. That's what I would look forward to, right? So I would actually buy it if it was a campaign. But unfortunately, I don't care about shooters and extraction shooters and all that. Like, I don't care. If it's all just multiplayer, it's like, okay, whatever. So because of that, it's disappointing that Bungie, I would normally buy their games, right? I bought the Halos and I bought the Destinies, but it's because of the campaign. I want the campaign. I'd love co-op campaign on top of that. It'd be awesome. So
I wanted them. I wanted them to make a new single player IP. I was waiting for that. Just never materialized. And then when Sony kind of, won their little battle there with their contract and decided to tell them, okay, you're only going to concentrate on Destiny and Marathon.
And Marathon has to be a multiplayer only live service game with, whatever, games as a service. And it's like, okay. Yeah, that's disappointing, but oh well, whatever. Let's see where it goes. Hey, a couple of days, we'll find out, right? So about this time next week when we come up on the show, we'll probably have some stats.
We'll know
as to where it is.
Yeah, we'll know.
Right. So
I mean, just looking at the Steam charts alone will tell us a lot in a few days. And by the weekend especially. It needs to land for them. And I'm hoping it does for them, because again, even though it's not a game for me, I don't want to see Bungie fail. I don't.
Yeah.
I think they're a great talent. They make some of the best gunplay.
And I know we kind of veered to this, but you started with the one where Highguard failed, and that's yet another like case in point of how this stuff works out, right? This is supposedly a mix of pretty good talent that put this together, and yet it just didn't go anywhere when the game came out. And some of it has to do with sort of the messaging around it, the way it was announced. Maybe that did pour some gasoline on the downfall of it, but either way, I don't know that even if any of that hadn't happened, that it might have ended up at the same state. But I think there was definitely a little bit more of negative, like I want to say community, like angst against it, but I don't know if it was just that or not. But because it didn't rate that well either, so it's like okay, and eventually, if games are not good enough, they don't make it. That's just the way it goes. And if maybe the Keighley show, it wasn't the like end of show thing, maybe that would have given it a little bit more of a chance, but I don't know. I mean, still, it could have just failed just as spectacularly, unfortunately. And Marathon, they're trying everything, right? And we'll see. Good luck to the team. Let's see what happens.
For sure. Now, keeping with Sony real quick, new God of War game is apparently in the works from Sony Santa Monica. That's why I did the whole thumbnail thing with Faye bald and everything. Anyways, Wife of War. Anyways, that's what we're calling it. So this game is going to be in the universe of Kratos and, God of War, but without Kratos. Apparently you'll play as Faye. And look, Here's my take, and it might surprise some people based on the thumbnail and everything. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Like, this situation is one of those situations where I see a lot of people up in arms over it on Twitter and stuff. And a lot of these people, I'm just going to say it, are just virgins, and they're just like really mad that you have to play as a girl. Look, I don't care if I'm playing as a female character in a game. It doesn't bother me. And this isn't God of War. This is a spinoff. So look, let them cook, let them make a game, and then we'll judge it when it comes out. Now, if there's stuff in the game that's just unnecessarily added because, they want to push some kind of ideology or agenda, then we could all get the pitchforks and say why, if it doesn't work, if it doesn't make sense or lend to the story at all. Then you can be like, yeah, then virgin out all you want. However, when just the mere mention of female protagonists, you get a lot of these guys that just get angry. And I'm just like, let's just see what the game's about. I don't know. That's my thoughts, Hargeet. What say you, man?
Yeah, I mean, look, this universe, right? Because it's not really an IP; it's just all Greek and now Norse gods, and
yeah,
okay, fair enough. So is there some like canon to any of this stuff? No, not really. It's just mythology. So can you play as a different character? Sure. I don't know what the intent of God of War really is. So can it just have, hey, it's part of this universe, you have other games? I don't see an issue with that, but I'm also not a big God of War person, so I don't really necessarily care that the franchise is branching out a bit. Good enough for me. I don't like fun. If it works, it works, right? So now I would expect to see Kratos in this anyway, because the actor mentioned that they're going to be talking about this game in the summertime or whatever, right? So it's very likely that he voiced Kratos, so there's got to be something that he's doing. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some like switching between the two characters, and this is the sort of timeline of how they met up, and blah blah blah, right? So so maybe that's what happens. Yeah, so
she's a giant. It's not like she's some mere mortal that that can't do anything. Somebody in the chat, DJ Marshman, said Faye took on Thor. I want to see that. What they do.
Yeah, like, so there's some interesting stuff here. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's it's fine. I like, let them try, right? So it'll be an interesting difference or change in the series. I mean, he had Sons of Sparta, where technically
come on, that was terrible looking.
You're playing. It's terrible looking, but even there, it's like you're technically playing Kratos, but are you though? And so, like, it's an interesting shift away from that main character. And I don't know what they plan to do next, right? So they could be shifting to other areas. Maybe they play, with Atreus for a bit or something. I don't know. Like, we'll see.
That's what I thought they would gravitate to, honestly. Yeah, go to Atreus. But
hey, whatever, right? We will find out how they, go through all this stuff, and so you have the sci-fi aspect of it, right? That supposedly it's kind of futuristic tech with so the giants, what was their realm, like whatever, they have their realm, and like they have Valhalla and all these realms, so there is some capability of being kind of sci-fi, right? So we'll see what they do with that. It could be interesting, right? We can see what they change that up to be, instead of kind of ancient godlike things that were happening in sort of the Greek timelines. Cool. All right, we'll see what they do.
Otaku, I actually agree with you on that.
Which one?
That Marcus Johnson Videos has a question for us. Good evening,
yeah.
Fonz
So,
what PC would you recommend for the best price to performance?
I mean, unfortunately, if I had to recommend price to performance, it's going to be Build It. If you, but the problem is today the component prices are so ridiculous that it's tough. Normally, that's what I would recommend. It'll definitely be cheaper
Costco has
that way.
a good one right now. Costco is selling but it's 4070 with a AMD really good CPU, and I think it's 1,500.
Yeah, I would just look for the best deal with the best components that you can find. So that's generally where I steer people. Like, look at Best Buy or Amazon or anything, Costco's, anything like that. Just get whatever seems to have the right components you want, right? Set your bar to like, hey, I want a minimum this, and this for my CPU, memory, and GPU, and then just don't go get it. Like,
if I'm going to be honest, though, I would recommend, if you're looking at the NVIDIA side, don't get anything less than, honestly, I would say, like, what would you say, like a 5070 Ti?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what kind of gaming you want to do. Like, if it, that's probably good enough. If you want to do path tracing, you're gonna need more. I would say at least 4080.
Super.
Yeah, so at least 4080. But yeah, 50s, if you can get to the 50s, that's fine. Again, I don't know what the price deltas are these days. So unfortunately, things have become ridiculous. That bubble is bursting, thankfully. So maybe things will come back to normal a bit, but that might still be a little lag of 6 months or so. But yeah, so at least 40 series, and then if you can get it, stick to like the 4080 or higher. If you want to get in the 50 series, 5070 Ti or 5070, something like that at least. And then you can, if you can afford it, get the 5080. 5090 is absurd. You don't need it. You don't. If you have the money and it's, but you ask for, price performance, I'm assuming you don't want to spend the money, but yeah, don't bother. Don't even bother.
In the chat says, go ahead and get the PS5 Pro greatness. Hey, that PSSR. No, but that PSSR 2.0 is looking really good, especially with Requiem, Resident Evil Requiem that just came out. Man, that does look really good. And the PSSR, the new version of it, is night and day difference from the first one. It's really
so it's actually doing a lot more capabilities, like basically DLSS 1 to 2, right? Like whatever, and it's what we were expecting, right? It is what it is with those kind of technologies. But yeah, whatever. If you want the performance of a PC, and plus it's PC. PC is a lot more flexible. So if you're looking for that,
I'm not comparing the Pro to the PC, but I'm just saying the pisser. I'm gonna have to say it's looking really well. It's looking good, and it's looking very good. And also, I learned this weekend that the PS5 Pro is selling really well right now too because of Resident Evil. Like people are buying it because of Resident Evil. And here's the thing: one thing that came to my mind, let's be honest. When GTA comes out, you're going to see another spike in sales of that Pro.
Yeah. But I'm also saying people are probably picking it up now to say, "Hey, I want to play that." But what's coming out? GTA, so I'll have it. I'll have it ready to go, right? So might as well just get it out of the way if you're going to be playing on Pro or PS5.
Well, I will be playing GTA on the Pro for sure. I will be, especially because we're gonna have to wait for the PC version of GTA, and we might. Speaking of PlayStation, there's rumors now swirling that they are pulling back on single player games, going to PC. They want to focus on their platform. They want to emphasize the PlayStation value proposition. All single-player PC ports combined. This is crazy. I was looking into it, Hargeet. All of the single-player PC ports combined that they have put on PC, they only make up 1.1% of their entire annual gaming revenue, which is so small in comparison to their the tens of billions they make off of console sales, hardware sale, digital sales, the store fees, the subscription services. They make so much more than they do just that little bit there. It's 1.1% of their total revenue. That was a lot smaller than I thought it was. However, it's still added revenue. But apparently their thought process here is we pull the single player games back so we can concentrate on people having to buy our platform going forward. I think that's what they continue to want the emphasis on is their PlayStation 5s, their PlayStation 5 Pros, and eventually their PlayStation 6s.
Yeah, but your 1.1%, first off, if they make 10 billion on hardware, they're not making 10 billion on hardware. they're making revenue of 10 billion on hardware, and the actual profit of that is, I don't know,
Revenue,
maybe
yes.
nothing. I don't know, but we'll see. But whatever. But here you're talking about $300 million, right? 1.1% is $300 million in just pure profit, right? So, okay, you're going to say no to that. All right, fine, fair enough. But some people make dumb decisions, right? That's fine. I tell me how that's going to increase their sales from the already 90 million consoles sold. Are they going to suddenly go to 700 million consoles sold? Because that's not going to happen, right? So it's a really stupid idea. Like, what are they really going to gain? I don't know, but whatever. You know what? I think they're doing this because of Magnus, because they're petty. That's it. That's the reality. Okay, and
I think that's part of
whatever,
it. You're
dude. Right. Whatever, dude. Like,
I think
you're
that's
so petty, you don't want to
definitely
do
part
that. Have fun. Go at it. Take away your cash. Not a problem for me. I don't understand anybody who says no to money. Okay, fine. And it's all for pettiness. It's not because, oh, there's some moral value gained here. Or no. We're not saving lives here. This is just being stupid to be petty. Okay, cool. Fair enough.
So you don't think that the selling of selling of more consoles would benefit them more than
consoles?
This 1.1%?
How many more consoles do you think are going to sell? They're already at over 90, right? Already over 90 million. That's what they tell us, unless they're lying. They're already at over 90. How many more do you think they're going to sell? What's that
I'm just
number?
saying one. I think it's more than the 2.1 billion they've made so far in all their gaming revenue for 5 years now on the PC ports, and this includes Helldivers 2, and whatever other live service game. That's all they've made. I don't think. I mean, look, I'm starting to think differently now. I'm starting to think differently now, and it's because of where we're at with gaming today. And I'm wondering if the whole pulling back of exclusivity and pushing your games everywhere for these consoles anyway have done more damage than good. And by that, I mean platform sales will eventually decrease because you'll have people that'll move on and go to a PC or whatever, and looking over, Microsoft, when they've done it, it seems like nobody's buying an Xbox anymore because you don't need
but they're
to.
at their natural end anyway, right? We talked about this with
natural
Zocker and me,
end,
right?
Though, what do you mean by natural end?
They were never going to sell 200 million consoles. That was never going to happen. They weren't even going to sell 100 million consoles. I know, like back on RDX, we were talking about this, right? And the enthusiast numbers were, oh, they're going to outdo PlayStation. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. The rest of the world hates Xbox and hates Microsoft and hates America. That's not going to happen. So you can take that off the table. It's America that's going to compete. And, the targets were, from my perspective, 60 million. Zocker said 40 million. Guess where they are? 45 million. So it's like, okay, well, they're where they're going to be, right? They might sell another, 5 million consoles by the end of the generation, but that's where they were going to be. They're never going to freaking sell 100 million. That wasn't going to happen, right? Their big popularity was 360, and after that, it just sort of tapered. That's it.
But one question I would have to ask is, why didn't it happen? Because I think I have the answer. Why didn't they sell more than 45 million this last generation?
First, they're already hinting at their next gen, right? They have scaled back their production. On top of that, they've said, hey, we want you to move on to this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox, which certainly muddies the waters as far as console sales. But they've pulled back. It's harder to find them in stock. So, and that's on them. They wanted to pull back because they don't want to keep spending money. It's too expensive. This generation's been a bust for them. So they try to give you the cheapest console. It's still there, Series S, $400 if you want it, which is $100 more than when it started. That is crazy, right? That's just crazy. But anyways,
because Hargy, one of our topics here is about Asha Sharma speaking recently and saying that she wants to get back to the core audience and wants to start with the consoles. Okay, start with hardware. And I'm just a bit confused here because what about this console will help? How could she change the average mindset of the gamer when it comes to the consoles? What is she planning on doing here, starting with the consoles? I don't get that. I'm confused.
I don't know how you do, right? Because the only market it's going to be relevant in is here. And even here, the majority of people just want to play on PlayStation, right? So I don't know that there's a way around it. I don't know that there's anything they can realistically do. So we'll see. They'll try things, but look, all the things that people keep talking about is eliminate this, eliminate that, eliminate. It's like, dude, if you want to create enthusiasm, that's the last thing you want to do is eliminate stuff, right? What you want to do is build more, right? So I don't know how that's going to work.
100%. But I'm just saying, like, if we're taking her comments on the focusing on the console, if you want to bring people to a platform, you have to have exclusive content to said platform to bring them there. You cannot bring people there if they're already everywhere else getting everything that you got that you're putting out. That's my thought process. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. And
so why did you choose an LG TV?
Because it was the best OLED at the time that had like Dolby Vision and all that stuff. Yeah.
So it's based on capabilities, right? You didn't base it on like, oh, well, LG is the only one that plays this television series. Oh my gosh, I have to get an LG.
No,
because they play this.
Yes,
you know,
I know,
like,
but
it doesn't really matter.
If everybody was like that and everybody could afford something, they would buy the best thing every
would the
time.
world suck if that was the case.
Everybody would buy a PC instead of buying a console. And
exactly.
If they can just afford everything, that's the way I look at it. However, if you have a platform that you want to bring people to, you have to have something there that they're like, oh, I can only get that there. I'm going there.
Yeah, which has been the sad reality.
Every feature they have, every good feature they have is everywhere.
What
like
feature
it's not on PlayStation yet. Now, what I'm talking about is like Game Pass and all their games. It's everywhere. So you're not going to pull people back to the console
on PC and cloud, if that's what you mean, right? But it's not on PlayStation. But even all their games aren't everywhere, but whatever. Most of them hopefully will be coming to other platforms, whatever. But feature set wise, no, they're still better, right? I can start my game on my console, play it on my PC, play it on
quick
cloud,
resume. You got those things, yeah.
You got like the same save everywhere, right? You got quick resume, right? Those kind of features are still kind of cool here. But anyway, and then entitlement, right? So you get cross entitlement with you buy the game on Xbox, you have play anywhere potential. Those are things that are features, but that's again, it's up to them to. But look, do I think this is going to resonate and change? No, because this industry is so
I'm not saying
up.
You do. I just think this is weird because, like, you asked me about the TV, but what do we do with that TV? We play games, which we can play anything on the TV. We watch everything we want to watch on it, and that is across the board with everything. So that is like, for me, that kind of like saying, hey, why did you buy this thing? Well, it could do everything I want it to do. So I could play everything there. But you can't have that with an Xbox. You can't have that with a PlayStation. You can't have that with a PC. There's these exclusives, right? But I could say I can have every Xbox game with a PC. I could say that. So I don't need an Xbox. However, if I want to play, say, Wolverine, I have to have a PlayStation. I won't be able to play it on PC if they pull back the exclusive single player games.
Yeah.
So they have reasons why people will go out and buy their platform. Xbox does not. Here's my problem with Xbox. What they should be focusing on first is not the console, not any of that. Look, if you're really talking about getting people to your platform, because I don't think that's it. I think it's more getting people to your brand and Game Pass, wherever it may be. I don't really think it's about the console. Because if it truly were, you would have to have exclusives on said console, and you would have to have exclusives that entice people to want to buy that console. I don't think there are many games out there that pull people to Xbox. Outside of like Forza Horizon and, maybe, I don't even say Halo anymore. They need new franchise. They need to concentrate on great games. That's all they need to do. That's the secret there for them.
But it doesn't matter,
to come
right?
to your brand. Bring back
It's never
great
gonna matter.
games. Make some
like, what
really
game?
good games.
What game is good and what game is
new
not?
games. I could say the
Like-
same thing. I could look over at PlayStation and go, what games? They always come out with something that attracts the masses of gamers. Wolverine is going to sell really good. Watch.
Okay, but so up to now, what have they had? Spider-Man 2?
They've had
what have they
Spider-Man 2. They've had Ragnarok. They've all sold really well.
Well, Ragnarok was a PS4 game, but either way, let's say.
But they all sold really well. Is my point. And like looking at the situation, I can't say in the last 10 years what did Xbox have, like outside of Forza Horizon 5. Like they don't really have games that appeal to the larger audience, and that is the biggest struggle.
What does that
Xbox.
necessarily mean? What is larger audience? So Ragnarok was sold like 13 million?
I'm talking about sales. Okay, I'm talking about sales, and because again,
and outside of Call of Duty and Minecraft, which already outdo everything else.
I know, but they've already decided they're going. Well, it's not confirmed yet, but they're going to pull COD from Game Pass because they've lost a 300 to 400 million on sales from COD because they had it in Game Pass. So if they pull that back, that's something that they could recoup some of their losses there with COD. But what do they have that attracts people to the brand? What would attract them to come back to Xbox? That's what I don't get.
Well,
what
you're looking at it from the wrong perspective. Nothing is going to attract a customer who hates the brand.
Then Asha is going to fail at her job.
She is.
That is what you're telling me.
100%.
Asha is.
There's no way you can't fix this, right? Is there like in the world that we have? Is there some way to say, okay, I hate this country, XYZ country? Will you suddenly flip on that? It's not going to happen.
No,
people have.
I hear you, Hargy, but don't you want them to create? Don't you want them to create experiences that appeal to a mass audience?
There's no way to do that anymore, because no matter what game you make,
other companies
it's just not going to. Tell me how Ubisoft is doing well with Assassin's Creed. How much did that sell?
No, they're not doing well, but that's an old franchise. See, Xbox, they need to come up with a new franchise. That's what they need to do. They need to spend money on that rather than marketing or all this other stuff they're looking into. It's not going to work.
Neither is that. Unfortunately, people don't care. They don't want to play these new franchises. They want to play Fortnite. That's it. And unfortunately, it's not changing. Right? Like what can you do? Marathon's a new, well, it's not even a new franchise because they already had Marathon before, but is that going to do well? I don't know. I mean, like this is just the world we're in. It's just the world we're in. Highguard just tried it.
Others are still doing it. Nintendo still does it. PlayStation still does it. Why can't Xbox?
Do they though? Do they though?
Why can't Xbox?
Like the last new thing they did. What was the last new thing they did? They created that paint game. What's it called? The ink. What was that thing? Splatoon. Right. What else have they created that's a brand new thing?
The Donkey Kong game that everybody was loving.
That's not a new franchise. That's not a new franchise. That's the 12th game in that franchise.
Yeah,
like,
but
technically, it's part of the Mario franchise, right?
But you know that they can iterate on these franchises and make them even better, which they do over and over again. They revitalize all their franchises.
Contradicts your original statement of making new IP.
Okay,
right.
But no. They need to make new franchises because the other ones that they seem to try to revitalize never freaking works for Xbox. And I don't know what it is.
I don't think anything's going to work. I just don't.
They just don't try hard enough. I don't know what it is about the studios or if it's upper management, but Xbox's biggest problem is the lack of games that appeal to people. That can't be argued with. That's their problem.
I don't think there's ever a chance for them to change that. It's just not going to happen. The industry mindset,
a new regime in there.
They can't stand that Xbox exists. It's just the way it is. It's never going to get a break. It's just not. You have to get over this. Like people think somehow like Fable is going to do well. No, it's not. It's not going to do well. There is nothing they can put out that will do well. It's just not going to happen. They can continue to have COD and maybe that'll work. Minecraft thankfully works. That's it. They're not going to.
I have some hope. I have some hope for Fable. I hope that appeals to more people. I'm not saying it will or won't, but I want it to. because
It won't.
Xbox, because I don't want to see Xbox fail. That's not my point of bringing any of this up. It's just that I look at the direction, or at least whatever Asha's saying, and I'm like, well, why are you starting with the console, or concentrate on the console? You've got some marketing teams here. And by the way, she did hire a couple of marketing people, and I'm going to read what they're doing. So apparently she hired 2 people, one that is going to concentrate on communicating with fans across devices and ecosystems. Okay.
Good luck.
I don't know what that's about, but and then someone who's leading the efforts for a beloved RPG franchise and helping shape the next chapter of that franchise globally, that's globally recognized, and connecting it with millions of players. So in short, she's trying to help market for Elder Scrolls 6, I guess, because that would be the big
you
beloved
could easily say that's
franchise.
Fable. You could easily say that's World of Warcraft. You could easily say that's Diablo. You could. So there's so many. It doesn't matter.
I really think this is for Elder Scrolls, but it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, like,
which by the way is also going to do terribly. Just to like, pre put that out there, it's going to do terribly because it's associated with Xbox.
You know, it's
So
it's good terrible. To market your games. That's a great thing, but honestly, what they need to concentrate on is making great games again. They've done it in the past. They could do it in the future. It just doesn't seem to resonate with upper management that that's what they need most. Like, dude, everybody left.
Fonz, the only way this could work is they make Sony make a game for them. That's the only way it'll work, because the industry just cannot stand Xbox. It is what it is. No matter what you do, it's always going to be like this.
See,
the potential for them is just not there.
I don't see it being. It shouldn't be. I'll say that it shouldn't be an automatic failure for Asha Sharma. It shouldn't. If anybody with a brain could come in and go, well, hey, let's look at all the games we've come out with: South of Midnight, Avowed, Indiana Jones. Nothing sold well in the past couple of years, except for Forza Horizon.
Tell me, Indiana Jones was a horrible game.
It's not. It's not a horrible game. And that's not what I'm trying to say. But you know what, though? I will say this much. Had they made that game third-person action adventure, I bet it would have sold more. I bet it would have sold more. And at the end of the day, it's like they did what they did. But, again, anybody with half a brain can go in there and go. The problem is you're just not making the games that people that's resonating with the audience. Like, nobody, the masses aren't loving your games. And you need to work on that. You need to do something to make something, create something that brings people to your brand. That's the way I see it. And I think Game Pass is one of those things that helps these smaller games and helps these games that don't sell. Because somebody was saying, like, well, if they got rid of all the, day ones in Game Pass, the day one first party games, then they're not just going to go out and buy those games. And I said, of course you wouldn't, because they're not worth the $70. You wouldn't buy those games. You wouldn't buy Avowed for $70. You wouldn't buy South of Midnight. You wouldn't buy, even the franchise that I like a lot, which is Outer Worlds. You wouldn't buy that for $70. But because it's in Game Pass, it's a value. And I get that, but dude, you've got Game Pass on PC too. Like, how are you going to bring back people to your platform? I think that is it's crazy, other than if you bring back exclusives again and you have them all on your console and you don't put them out on PC.
I mean, Fonz, they had that. It wasn't working.
Yeah. No, because their games weren't working. That's my point. It wasn't
working.
That is my point.
So, like, and I don't know that there's anything they can do to get around that. They will always have, according to the entire industry, the shittiest franchises. It doesn't matter. It's like the aggregate scores for the games are better than PlayStation, but nobody cares. It doesn't matter. It's always PlayStation makes these better games. Okay, fair enough. There's nothing you can do about it.
The problem with the aggregate scores, I'm going to mention something about this that Colt doesn't ever, put out there when he's talking about these aggregate scores, because there are a lot more people, a lot more journalists and stuff that review Sony games than they review Xbox games.
Exactly.
Not only that, but there are a lot of reviewers that review both of them, even that are very biased, and they'll be like, Xbox Weekly gave it a 9 out of 10. Xbox Era gave it a 9.5 out of 10. It's like, okay, we know the game. At the end of the day, though, you have way less people reviewing Xbox games. So usually their scores are going to be a little bit higher because of that fact.
Why would they be higher? The better thing is, like, so you have a game like Starfield, which is like a wide adoption game, right? And so you literally have PlayStation-centric sites saying it's an Xbox game, they suck, I'm giving it a 4. Okay.
Sometimes that may be. Sometimes that may be. But you have a lot
Like,
of people that who's really willing to, put themselves through certain games with a review. I don't want to dog on just one particular game, but let's just say there's a game on Xbox and doesn't look that great, doesn't play that great, but hey, maybe the reviewer that put themselves through that, maybe it's because they wanted to play that game. Maybe they like that genre. Maybe they actually want to play that game. Maybe that's why they gave it a decent score, But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you have fewer people reviewing Xbox games, and I see some of the outlets and the names of these outlets, and I'm like, please stop. I don't know. I just think that's their biggest issue, though. It's not really. It's the games. It's the stigma around the games. You need to just create great games.
I'll just point blank ask you: if Indiana Jones was made by one of the Sony studios, does it get the same score or does it get a higher score?
I don't know. I don't know.
I can give you the answer. It's obvious they would get a higher score. It's automatic.
Here's the thing, though. Even when it went to PlayStation, though, it didn't get a ton of sales there. It
won't
got some
matter.
Sales, but it wasn't.
It's got that Xbox stank on it. It doesn't matter. It's already done.
There was a lot of things going against this game. Number one, it was an Indiana Jones game. A lot of gamers today, especially younger audiences, don't know who the hell Indiana Jones is. And number two, it wasn't a third-person action adventure. Everybody was praying that it would be, and it wasn't. And it just turned a lot of people off. I remember when it happened. By the way, Face 23 BKNY with the $1.99 says 1.1% in 5 years is nothing to Sony. Well,
it is a lot to their shareholders. It's a lot to their shareholders.
It is nothing. Gmania1 says, thank you for the 5. He says, I think Sony is scaling back on PC because the new Xbox will have Steam and they don't want their games on Xbox. I think that's part of it. They're a bit petty. They can be. Member for 33 months, Lord Metroid. What's up, Metroid? I talked to him in a DM the other day. Really nice guy. Says exclusives do matter. This is fact. Yeah, I think they do. I think that more and more I'm seeing what's going on recently with the console manufacturers, and I'm just going, it kind of messed up Xbox in a lot of ways when they branched out, especially their console. I'll say that. G-Mania, thank you again for the 5. He says, Xbox should make Game Pass exclusive to the console, stop releasing on PC, and if they get Steam, that will attract people. That would be better.
That's not happening.
But
that is not happening.
It won't, because again, there's not enough consoles out there.
And we'll keep forgetting that the other platform they have is Windows, and they're not going to suddenly abandon their large 2 billion player platform.
True.
That's not
they
going
got
to happen.
Windows too. Lord Metroid,
not going to happen.
Thank you for the 2. He says exclusives don't matter. Nintendo, hold my beer. Yeah, dude, Nintendo. Again, they revitalize all their old franchises and they add new mechanics and they do new things, and they make things actually really good. Like, I can crap on the way their games look and stuff sometimes, but when I actually pick it up and play it, like Mario Wonder, when I played through that, amazing. Just the stuff they added to that game was incredible. And you ask yourself, like, what could they do for a 2D side scroller like this? They did different things, and it was awesome. So yeah, and we're not seeing this kind of thing in, I'll say it too, like even on the PlayStation side with their remasters, or not remasters, their sequels, they don't really go above and beyond and like add all kinds of different mechanics and stuff. You may get one or two, but they're still good quality games though, and people enjoy the franchises. And I think when it comes to Xbox, when they look at Halo or even Gears, they're kind of just like, they're tired of the franchise. They just don't really care anymore. I'm hoping it changes for Gears E-Day. I hope that one does really well because it
What does
looks
really well mean?
solid. See, that's the problem, because when I say really well, it means sales. The problem with that is Game Pass cannibalizes the fuck out of sales. So they don't
It's not going to sell.
Yeah. They just talk MAUs, and it's like, I hate the fact that like that's what it's come down to with Xbox. It's Game Pass. Honestly, I'm just going to be real. I wish it never existed. Looking back, I just think that I just wish it never existed. And I know for them, they're looking at it as, oh, this is revenue we get. It's continuous revenue. It's good revenue. It's profitable. They've made $5 billion in 2025 alone off of it. So if you have a really massive hit and it sells like gangbusters for $70, sure, you can make more than what you're making with it in Game Pass. 100%. That's not a lie. That's why COD lost 300 to 400 million. That aside, though, how often does that happen with a game, right? Especially with Xbox. So for them, Game Pass makes sense as a business because they do make profit off it. I get that. But I think that it's also caused them to stagnate in creativity and to push boundaries when it comes to their games. That's my thoughts. That's my opinion. That's where I'm at with it.
I mean, I don't. Well, so it didn't cannibalize Expedition 33. I don't know of many publishers that have the breadth and depth of games that Xbox does. So you say that they don't have creativity.
Hold up.
They have Flight Simulator.
Cannibalize Expedition 33 and move on. If nobody had it in Game Pass, some of those people would have bought it outside of Game Pass. They would have had more game sales. It cannibalized.
If it wasn't in Game Pass, it wouldn't have been made, right? That was what gave them production budget. But either way, they have Aura, they have Age of Empires.
I don't know if
they
that's
have Grounded,
true.
they have Pentiment, they have Kiln, and they have Keeper, they have Psychonauts and things like that. Like they have a bunch of those kind of games, right? Clockwork. You got Avowed and Outer Worlds, which again, it just depends on what you like, and some people don't care, right? South of Midnight came out. That's a creative game. I mean, like, but so I see the opposite. Like, the problem is nothing Xbox does is ever good enough, and that's always the problem. So you think E-Day is going to do well? It's not. I can just tell you now, it's not. It's not going to sell well. Nothing Xbox does resonates. I think somebody mentioned it. Exactly what needs to happen. What was it? Let's see.
If E-Day was a really good game, I mean, I'm talking like knock your socks off Blockbuster. If it wasn't in Game Pass, it would freaking sell. That is my point. It would sell.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Because
you're saying it from the standpoint you're saying it from the standpoint from like everybody just shits on Xbox. That's why.
No, I think there's an assumption that somehow games will sell to that level. They don't. Like games just don't. Like the game of the year a couple of years ago was Astrobot. How much did that sell?
What 2 million, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Is that massively successful? For them it is.
No.
For that little studio it is. But is that what you expect? Like, I don't know. It just depends.
Those aren't the type of games that make people buy a PS5, though. Let's be fair. Nobody's buying it for Astrobot. They're buying it for the Spider-Mans, the Wolverines, the God of Wars, the Uncharted's, you name it.
I totally disagree with that. They're buying it for Fortnite, Apex, Call of Duty. They're buying it for those. Minecraft. Nobody's buying it for those. Like maybe a handful percent.
Those people that are buying... No, those people that are buying a PlayStation 5 that so happen to play Fortnite and stuff are just buying what everybody else out there says is the best console. That is it. It's not, they're not buying it for Fortnite. They're just buying a console. And what console would they rather have? Oh, let me get this one because they have better games if I do want to play something else.
Yeah, but they don't play
their mindset. But not everybody, no. But even the people that play Fortnite aren't buying the console for Fortnite. They're buying the console because they're just buying what everybody else says is the best console.
Yeah,
of course to play Fortnite, but
I mean,
I'm just
the
telling
stats
you.
prove it.
I'm just telling you that nobody's out there going, man, I got to have an Xbox for Avowed. Nobody's saying that.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah, but again, I don't think that changes. Like, you brought the stat in one of our shows of how many people actually buy, or play these single player campaign games, and it was something like 10%. It's very small.
It's
very
you're
small.
right. You're right.
So,
but there are those people. Okay, case in point, GTA 6, not a first party game, but when it drops, people are going to buy PS5s for it.
Yeah. It's a Zeitgeisty game, and that was what I was looking for. Somebody had pointed, like, yeah, the thing with it is they need to have a Fortnite event, like an Xbox event or something like that. That was the post in the chat, and that's right. It's Zeitgeist. It's and there's no like game outside of Call of Duty or Minecraft that's going to have that for them. Well, to be fair, World of Warcraft still has its moments. Diablo still seems to have its moments, so those tend to do okay.
Okay. So since we can't really talk about exclusivity because they're not going to pull it back and pull them off of PC.
It wouldn't matter. They could make all of them exclusive.
I'm saying,
it won't make a difference.
No, it wouldn't make a difference now because they don't have games that appeal to a broader audience. That's my opinion. However, let's talk about what they do have. Game Pass. Okay. How can they grow Game Pass? What would you say to Asha to help her out here to grow Game Pass? This is how you do it. What do you do to help that situation? Because that is where their mindset is, right? Game Pass.
Well, this depends on what they want to prioritize. I already have my take, which is cut the price, move your cloud off into its own tier, because that's a cost that you're putting onto people. And then you made like the mid tier $20 and the high tier $30. Cut that back, right? Like Game Pass Ultimate should be $20. If you want cloud, go pay extra for it, get that separately. And that way you give the core gamer the games and not the service for cloud, right? Because that has to be it has to be paid for somehow, right? They have to compensate that cost. And that's how they're doing it. They're basically charging people who have Game Pass. Here you go. You got to pay for cloud now. And it's like, fine, okay. But that made the price very high. So a lot of people kind of didn't like the $20 move, let alone the $30 move. So I don't know if that, to me, that's what you do. You cut it back. But like, I don't know if they're going to do any of that. I think they're trying to add more value at $30.
That's the same thing we've talked about. And I'm like, cutting back on game prices too. We've talked about that too. Like you'll sell more games if you cut back. Yeah. But I doubt they cut back the price on Game Pass. So now they could restructure Game Pass, right? They could restructure it, make new tiers.
Yeah. So look, if they want to expand it, you have to have tiers that give you the full like day and dates, but at a lower price. That's going to be the thing that expands it. You can't keep doing these increases all the time. That just takes away from the credibility of the service. And so if they want to get more subscribers, go down in price. Suddenly people will say, "Oh, it went down in price." Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
the way to increase.
Makes it more enticing for sure.
Yeah.
But again, I still say they need to create some better franchises, or at least revitalize old ones that just add new mechanics, do something really cool. Like, I don't know. Look, obviously it wasn't working with Phil. Obviously there was something wrong there because they kind of stagnated and it was just leveled off for the past 5 years. They really haven't done much. So Satya decides, hey, let's just move forward. Phil wants to retire anyway. Let's move forward. Let's get Asha in here, younger person. She's fast and fluid, knows how to bring people into previous positions she's been at. Maybe she can help the brand. Outside of making great games, I don't know what can help the brand. That's my
but I don't know that there's anything they could do that will be interesting to people. It's just not that simple.
So
everything they try,
sinking ship. It's a sinking ship. It's
no. I think they have contrary to your belief, they actually have the franchises that sustain. So they actually have stuff that just keeps churning and making money. Candy Crush alone makes
Yeah.
$500 million in profit. So every year. So they just keep making money on these other things. That's great.
Yeah. No, and I'm not
That
talking about
allows them to play
Xbox
with the other
completely
things.
going away. What I'm
Yeah.
talking about when I'm saying sinking is they start picking and choosing which companies they're going to keep, which studios they're going to keep that are guaranteed to bring them revenue,
Well,
and then start eliminating others, and along with a console manufacturing in the future. Done with it. Why have it?
I mean, ultimately that's going to happen anyway. But like, as far as the studios, if everybody wants something different, right? You want to have like these games that sell a lot. Well, then you eliminate basically half the studios that Xbox has. So like Obsidian gone, In Exile gone. You got Double Fine gone. You've got Undead Labs gone. You basically have to shut down Halo Studios. You pretty much get rid of Coalition. Like what's left? Like it's going to shut down.
Every time we talk about this and why they don't sell though, it's because they have Game Pass. Of course they're not going to sell.
No. Like how much do you think Halo 3 sold?
I don't know.
It's in the few millions. They did not sell. They never did. It's just that everybody has a perception that they sold that much. They never did. The games that sell are Call of Duty. The games that sell are things like Fortnite. Those are the games that sell. Like Halo, like the franchise has never sold that many copies. In fact, I think Halo Infinite is probably one of their more freaking massive hits, but people still think it failed miserably. But yeah, they did not sell that much. Okay, so like the original Xbox was a like how many consoles they sell? Like 10 million?
But I mean, you could go back and say the same thing for
much.
Sony games and stuff too. Way back then, they were. I mean, average sales was like 2 to 5 million.
Exactly, and now people have expectations of like, well, it has to sell like 30, 100
that's
million.
part of the problem.
That's
it's the greed in the industry. Exactly.
So
it goes down to the investors and everybody else that wants more money out of these companies. Dude, I'm with you, Hargeet. Like that's the problem. It's overall corporate greed that has ruined this industry. The expectations are so high that they can't possibly reach them.
Yeah, this has been the problem, right? And so like you have to like put it in measure and say, all right, if I want to sell 40 million copies of something, well, how many games have done that? Like 10, 15? Okay, well, how am I going to get to that level? That's not easy to do, right? So if you just say, look, 1 million is enough, 2 million is enough, okay, then that's enough, right? I don't know what that number is, right?
Yeah,
Game
they're
Pass
not
is
doing
to
that
give them
today.
cover.
Right? You know
Game
what the
Pass
delusion is, I think?
so they can pay for these things.
I think the delusion of the investors, especially because they don't know dick all about gaming. Okay, they just want to see those dollars, right? They want to see that revenue. So they're looking at it like they look at the Fortnites, they look at the CODs and shit, and they're like, "Where's that money for that game?" It's like it's a different kind of game, and they don't care.
Yeah,
they want to see unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's kind of how it looks, right? And so I don't know what is considered good enough, right? That is really for them to define. So if selling 500,000 copies is enough for what was that? Yeah, Returnal. If that's enough, and it might be, right? And it's like, hey, the cost to make this was this. We made our money back. That's great, right? That doesn't matter. And if they sell an additional 500,000 or more on PC, it's like, hey, that's just gravy. We just made extra money, no problem, right? So you have to just look at it from that perspective. Unfortunately, like everybody wants it to make billions, and it's like, oh, don't expect that. So I don't know. I just don't see it the same way. I think they have those franchises that sell in the billions, and they can keep making that money. And good, great, whatever. And if they want to do creative things, they have been. People just don't care. They just don't care. So they're doing exactly what you want. South of Midnight's a new IP, right? They made that. Clockwork Revolution is going to be a new IP.
But I played that, and it was not it. I knew that wasn't going to speak to the masses. South of Midnight is a very mid game.
And what will speak to the masses? I don't know. Like
Wolverine.
What do they need to like? But Wolverine isn't even their IP, right? But whatever. So Wolverine.
I'm just saying, like games like that. Like, look, it's such a disaster. So
here's another one. Blade's coming out. We have Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is a big IP. That didn't go anywhere. You think Blade's going to sell?
Well, here's the thing. People were so excited.
I can already tell you.
And then they saw the art style and people got deflated.
I can already tell you it's not going to sell. It's not going to sell. Okay.
Here's the thing, though. They've been approached to do Marvel games in the past, and Xbox turned them down because they didn't want to pay that Disney tax. I get it, but at the end of the day,
it's not going to happen.
Look what it's
I'm
doing
just
for
done with this idea of
Sony.
sales. So they need to get past that. How do you bring the console back? I don't know. I don't think you can.
You can't. You can't without great games. You cannot bring people to your platform.
I don't
without
think
great
the games are going to matter. I don't think that's going to matter.
It doesn't matter.
They started the Xbox One with Titanfall and what was that? Sunset Overdrive, and you had Dead Rising 3 and Rise and all these. Did it matter?
Yeah, those games.
The PS4 had jack shit, and they still outsold.
Well, we know what happened though. Come on, the TV, sports, TV. Yeah, it really pissed people off.
If it was games, that would have brought them in, right? Right now,
they were pissed off
still have
because people were pissed at Xbox. I remember I was one of them. I didn't buy it at the beginning.
And so it won't matter. It won't matter. So it's not the games. It just everybody wants
the games though, because when I bought a PlayStation 4, I was looking forward to the games that were coming out, but it was beyond the release of the console. I had to wait.
Yeah.
But I was looking forward to those games. I was like, I can't wait to play that. And so I bought one. But
look, I don't know that any of this is going to change, right? They keep putting out games. It doesn't matter. If they make them all exclusive outside of COD, will it matter? Maybe marginally. But honestly, I don't think people are going to come to Xbox. They're just not. It's become too ubiquitous at this point. So I just don't know that it's going to change. You'd have to have the entire industry, everybody decide that they don't want to do PlayStation anymore. Good luck.
I still say two things about the consoles when it comes to Xbox. The Magnus, their first party console, whatever they end up calling it. I think that this thing sells between 8 and 10 million. That's it.
Probably right.
And they'll make a profit because it's expensive. And
well, I mean, all of it's going to be expensive, but yeah.
And I don't think that OEM consoles are going to do very well. Matter of fact, I think that you might see one OEM console because
that's pretty good, right?
I don't think people are going to want to touch OEM consoles for Xbox. I just I don't see it.
Will we say 14 million is good if something sells that much? Is that good? I don't know.
For them,
maybe.
for the entire industry, if you're comparing it to like PS6 or PS5 Pro, PS5.
No. Like, for Halo 3. Halo 3. I don't know if you saw that. Halo 3.
Oh, yeah.
We will see. I don't trust it anymore. I don't care. I just don't see anything changing like that. It's not going to happen. You're right. 8 to 10 million maybe is realistic. I still also don't agree with this whole idea that somehow it's going to be that much more expensive than a PS6. If you think this thing's $1,500,
I think it's going to be at least. I think it's going to be at least $300 to $400 more than the PS6. That's my.
You'd be expecting.
Guess.
You'd expect Sony to take that much of a bath? There's no way. Why?
I think
Why would they take
Sony's
that bath?
Going to try to come in at $799. That's my.
Okay,
thought.
so then this will be 900 then.
No, I think Magnus are going to come in at like 1,200 plus.
Why? Where do we get this idea? The PS5 versus the Xbox Series X. How much of a delta is there in performance? It's about the same as Magnus versus PS6. So why would we think the components are going to be that much more expensive?
I don't look. It's just a feeling. I don't know. It's not facts. I haven't heard anything through the grapevine or anything. Of course, we all heard rumors. It might be between 12 and 15. However, I'm look more conservative. I can see that $1,200 price point. Just saying.
Then I would expect the PS6 to be 11. So we really have to be realistic here. If you're saying that they're going to be that expensive, fair enough. Then don't expect the PlayStation 6 to be cheap either.
Bounty says, I think King is right. What did King say? I didn't hear what
15?
King said.
I think he wants it to be 15.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's
expensive.
No.
If it's 15, then PS6 is 14. Like, I don't know where we're getting this idea that somehow PS6 is going to be so much cheaper. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Components wise, they are like 95% exactly the same. Exactly the same. So I was like, come on now. Where are we getting the idea it's going to be cheaper?
Yeah, Mark Cerny's got that plug, man. He's getting some RAM chips cheaper. He's got that plug.
Microsoft
Anyways,
made a massive deal with Sky Enix, so
yeah,
I don't know, man.
I'm just confused, and honestly just thinking about what, because I mean, right now especially, I was hoping that because this was such a fast move from Phil to Asha, and like they just all of a sudden, boom, we're doing this. I thought we'd start to hear more about like big changes coming, not just, hey, we're going to focus on
it's
community
literally the
and
first
console.
week, right? It's literally the first
I
week.
know, but I think for Xbox, if they want some big changes, they got to do it fast. They got to start just cooking.
Well,
just boom,
next
we're
week
doing
is
this, we're changing that.
Next week is GDC, right? And look,
Yeah.
it's too early to have a massive change like that immediately. I would expect at least 3 to 6 months before you start seeing any vision change. But maybe she'll do something sooner, but I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think she's going to learn the
if we
business.
see the same stuff going on, like, hey, it's still, the plan is the plan until it isn't. That quote she gave, if the plan is still the plan and it's 6 months in, 8 months in, I'm going to be like, what? Then why did we change guard? That's going to be my question. Then why did we do this? Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But I think it's interesting though, and I kind of get it. Like I said, if PlayStation does pull their exclusives from PC, that 1.1% really shocked me. I didn't know it was that small in terms of
that's not small
overall revenue.
That's not small.
It is in terms
no,
in 5 years. That's tiny.
So it's 1.1% per year, right?
Yeah, annually, yes, but they had 2.5 billion over 5 years made, and that's with Helldivers 2, mind you. You got to keep that in perspective. The live service games.
So is the 1.1% all of it, or just the single player games?
No, that's just the single player games. All of it was
okay. So that's 300 plus million of pure profit every year, and their profit is how much? It's 11% out of 29, right? Or was it 32? So it's about 3.5, something like that. So you're going to take away,
what
10% profit. You're going to take 10% profit hit. Holy crap!
Here's the thing.
That's a huge.
What Zocker was telling me that it might have been the case. He thinks that it was kind of just an experiment to see, because you have to log into some of these games to play them in your PSN account. So they kind of probably grabbed a bunch of statistics like, hey, this is how many people on PC don't own a PS5, made new accounts and stuff just to play this game or whatever. And they decided, hey, working out all the math, I'd rather those people just buy a PlayStation if they want to play our games. And they decided, hey, let's take it off because they don't own a PlayStation now.
We will see.
Zocker said that could be a thing that they did. And I'm just like, I never thought of that, but it's interesting. Ronnie Savage, thank you for the $4.99. PS5 Pro looking real good. It's going to sell like blockbusters when GTA 6 comes out. And Mark Cerny, the man, Fonz, Sony making smart moves right now with the Pro. I'm actually really shocked at the Pro sales as of late. When they announced this thing at $700 and now it's like $750, I didn't think it was going to sell well. But recently, and I think it's two things. One of the reasons why is, of course, a great game came out and people wanted to play it with the new PSSR 2.0 and all that with Resident Evil. Then you've got GTA, like Hargeet was saying, people are buying it in preparation for that. But also the other part of it too is I think people there's a lot of console gamers who just want something better, especially PS5 gamers. They just want a more powerful system. So they finally upgraded. I think that's another thing too. And then you could have some PS4 gamers that didn't even buy a PS5 that just went straight to the Pro. I think that could be a part of the
absolutely
thing too. Yeah. So BT Maverick said PS6 Pro Plus $399. Oh shit.
Good luck.
That's the dream.
That'll be the upgrade price.
Yeah, plus $399 exactly. Yes, and to your point, Ronnie Savage on Mark Cerny, I've always maintained this forever. look, I've made fun of Mark Cerny, the way he talks, and him looking like Dana Carvey and everything. But I've always said that man is a freaking genius, man. The way he puts these consoles together and what he gets out of them he's a genius. He's a smart dude. But yeah, I don't know, man. This is all just going to be exciting to see because there's so much that all these companies are doing and changing seemingly. And we're going to have to see where this goes and if it's for the better or the worst for these companies. Man, it's interesting times. It's interesting.
That it is. We will see. Like as far as this changing anything with Xbox, like the only thing I really care about is keep making the games they're making. Like I know you don't like them, but I like their games. It's fine. It is what it is, right? Not every publisher is for everyone. So
I know, but I'm just saying, Hargy, you never like when Indiana Jones was announced and we saw that it was first person, when we found that out, you didn't go like, man, they missed the mark there. They should have made a third person.
I try to give everything a chance, right? So when I played it, I'm like, holy crap, this is actually really good. Like what they did actually works. So like, it's fair. And this is the problem. I don't have to worry about it because it's in Game Pass. I can just play it. I don't have to worry about it. So I just give it a chance. I give it a chance. Created, it works.
It's created so many freaking gamers that are just hell-bent on having Game Pass and not ever buying freaking games. It's just like everybody's just like, Game Pass, it's coming to Game Pass.
So why do I care?
Man.
But why do I care? Like I certainly don't want them to become PlayStation, who puts out like one fucking game a year, and I'm supposed to care about that? Like they're down the toilet. They shut down all their studios. They freaking cancel all their games. Nah, that ain't it. That ain't it.
Yeah. I would rather have 1 to 2 really good games a year than 4 that are just mid. That's just me.
Yeah, that is just you. I just want, because I think like you think their games are mid. You didn't like Forbidden West.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't even like Ragnarok. So
no. Look, I liked Ragnarok. I hated the first 10 hours of Ragnarok. I thought that was boring as shit. Walking simulator, freaking puzzle machine. I was like, where's the fucking combat? But I liked everything after that. Here's the thing though. I don't like every game from PlayStation, but I'm just saying, like,
and when they give you 1 game a year, if you don't like that game, what do you get?
I know that it sucks for me. It would suck for me. I'm excited for Wolverine though. I'm really excited for Wolverine. I can't wait to play it. But when it comes to like Xbox, like I love the Outer Worlds franchise. I love the Outer Worlds franchise. I don't want that to end. I like it because I like the games. It reminds me of Fallout in a way, and I love those types of games. But I could objectively say that game feels dated as shit. Like there's aspects of the game that don't feel like a fresh new product. It doesn't bother me, but I could see why it doesn't appeal to a larger audience. And I think that's what you get out of some of these smaller games too, is that you're like, hey, I still like them, but I know that they won't appeal to everybody.
Yeah.
And I felt the same way about, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I don't know what changes that for any given game, right? Some games resonate, some games don't. Some games resonate really well with the critics and don't sell at all. Just is what it is. Like, what are you gonna do? So
Coog, that first 10 hours of Ragnarok was such shit, man. Just so bad. God. And then even in the puzzles, I remember I was sitting there trying to figure something out, which I don't like puzzles in games. I don't. And that's part of the reasons why I don't like it. Coog, you may love puzzles in the game, so you were probably happy with that 10 hours. But even then, I'm trying to figure it out. And then I got Atreus just telling me, hey, look at that rope over there. Maybe it's got something to do with that. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, let me try to figure it out first. And it just constantly just telling you what to do. Anyways, that's besides the point. But yeah,
well, maybe intended for a certain class of gamer. I'm just saying.
That's rude. By the way, did you hear that Xbox just patented something to allow AI to finish games for you? So they're doing the same thing that Sony did.
So Sony, yeah, exactly. Yay.
So yay, AI freaking bots finishing your games and beating hard bosses for you. That's
I think I pretty much said that was going to happen,
anyways,
right? Like,
it doesn't
don't
at the end of the day, it's something that that's some of the stuff though that I don't let bother me anymore. 2 years ago, I would have been fucking raving about that, but now I'm just like, I don't care if people use those kinds of fucking cheeses and cheats. Just whatever. It's not bothering me. I'm just going to continue with my gaming.
Why does Game Pass get hate all the time? Well, you know, because it's Microsoft.
Because it's expensive as fuck for what you get now. That's just my opinion.
I don't know.
It's expensive.
Yeah, I think it would be nice to get rid of the cloud thing and make it 20 again, but yeah, whatever. Yep.
Adding the cloud is just stupid because 99.9% of the Game Pass users don't use cloud.
They don't.
I'm willing to bet it's that many that don't use cloud.
I think a lot do end up using it because it's there and it's like convenient, right? But I don't think they use it primarily. And
but if they were given the opportunity, you want $10 less? They're going to go, oh yes, get rid of cloud.
So I said, hey, you want cloud? It's $10-15 more a month. Would you pay it? And because that's how much it costs to get, for the other ones, right? You have to pay that. And like here, they're just trying to stuff it into the Game Pass. But anyway, I think it'd be better to get rid of that.
He said, read the rest. Game Pass is like Blockbuster of today, and Blockbuster never got hate.
Well, they did at the end, right? Because Netflix came around. But no, I get your point. Yeah.
Especially if you lived in the Bay Area like I did, those disc turnarounds were so fast because it started in my backyard, Netflix. And so you turn it in, within 2 days, you get another disc, and it was so much more convenient than going to Blockbuster. However, I do miss going to Blockbuster and going in there and looking at all the movies, what we're going to rent, and looking at the games and stuff. And only looking at the back of the box, and you didn't have YouTube to look at a trailer or anything, so you didn't know what the game was going to be about. You just read the box, and so you're like, "Wow, Bubble Bobble is going to be amazing." And you bring it home, and you're like, "Oh, it's just Bubble Bobble." It was no shitting on Bubble Bobble. I had a blast with Bubble Bobble. Bad game to bring up. Face 23 BKNY with the 1999. Thank you very much, man. He says, great convo, different opinions. I know this ain't an Xbox podcast, but every Xbox podcast would be better if there wasn't a bunch of yes men with the same opinions. Yeah, it happens. It happens. You know what though? In all fairness, Face, I see the same thing happen in PlayStation podcasts. Where they're just all, Xbox sucks. Oh, man, fuck Xbox. Yeah, Game Pass is for losers. Broke boys over there. We eating good over here. Yeah, bro, I see that shit a lot, too. So it happens on both sides. Yeah, you got some of your Xbots, too. They're over here, with the same kind of agenda. PlayStation's just greedy. Oh my God, they just want that $70. Where's my Game Pass? Yeah. Nate State Games with a $4.99 says, Sony revert back to console exclusivity, so I should go and buy that box for half exclusives per year for the PS Studios. So he's going to buy the box for half the price, apparently. No, it doesn't work that way, Nate, unfortunately. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, again, we need to see where all this goes. It's not confirmed, but I want to see if they do that, make that decision. If they do make that decision, I don't know if it's a wrong one in my mind. I'm starting to think that them putting out their exclusives on other platforms has kind of hurt the industry as a whole. And what I mean by that is, there's less competition with these consoles now, and platforms, I should say, not just competition, not just consoles, platforms. If everything is everywhere, I mean, people are going to stick to whatever box they're on. Like at that moment, they're just going to say, oh, that game's coming over here. I'm good. I can play everything here.
Is that a problem?
The thing is like, if it's a problem for those console manufacturers, if they want to sell their boxes, yeah, it's a big problem for them. I think that's one of the problems that happened to Microsoft. That's why they stopped selling consoles. That's one of the reasons. Maybe
maybe that isn't the right path. I don't know. Like what, ultimately you have to think about what's right for the consumer. And at some point we should be the ones pushing for what we want. Right. So, but we'll see what happens. This industry has been
of course,
kind of beholden to
ideally,
this
and
weird model for a long time. So
yeah, I understand. Like ideally, I want to play everything on one platform. Honestly, I would
Yeah.
love everything on Steam. I can't get that. So I will buy a PlayStation to play PlayStation exclusives. If Xbox were to pull their exclusives and there happens to be a game I want to play over there, I'd buy an Xbox. I would have to. And that's
well, you
just
don't
the way I
have
see
to,
it.
but it's if you want to play that game, right? And
No,
I don't know.
but,
Like
that's how it is though. Like if I really want to play a game, I'm going to play the game no matter where it's at. Like if they tell me, hey, we're not putting that game out on your PlayStation, on your PC, let's say Wolverine, then I'm just going to play Wolverine on the Pro. That's it. I'm not going to, wait for there's no PC version. So if that were to happen, if it's true.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see what happens when the majority of the people who buy consoles, which is our generation and older, go away, right? What happens in that world?
And that's the thing. Remember back when we were like a lot younger, teenagers, you had so many different consoles out there vying for your attention, and they all had exclusives. And you bought those boxes, some of us, multiple of them, multiple different platforms because of those exclusives. If they're all going to everything, you no longer need to buy all these platforms. You buy one.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Stick with it. and it's great for us, but for the manufacturers, it's not so great because eventually some are going to fail. Some are going to fall far behind and eventually putter out, like seems Xbox is doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the way it looks. Phase 23 BKNY with the 1999. Thank you. He says, games I can play on the PS5 that are not on Xbox. Phantom Blade 0. Oh, I can't wait for Phantom Blade 0. Neo 3. Wolverine. Another one. Saros. Kenna can go away. I don't care. Kenna series is just trash to me. And Xbox games like Fable, Forza 6, and Gears. You had to throw the Xbox games in there. Damn.
Yeah, but you can play all those except for Wolverine and Saros on PC, right? So, whatever.
Yeah, I dude, at the end of the day, it's like play where you want, of course. But if these companies, if Xbox decided to pull their exclusives from PC, I would buy an Xbox. Happen. No. I know it's not going to happen. Because I don't want to put that out there because so many Xbox guys have said that, oh, Asha might be pulling exclusives. I don't think that's happening. But if they did, and something came out from them that I wanted to play really bad, I would buy an Xbox. 100%. No brainer for me. It's going to happen. And I think that's the mindset that Sony has right now. They're like, we know you'll buy a PlayStation for our games. And they know they've got me for that. I will buy a PlayStation 6 for their games, especially if they don't come to PC.
I'm just going to skip it. Whatever. I'm kind of done with them.
Even if something's really good coming out on PlayStation?
Don't care. They don't have anything good. Let's just be honest. Okay. You might like their games. I find them. You didn't even like freaking Forbidden West.
Forbidden West.
I actually played that. I'm like, okay, this is okay. Right. But their games to me are just that. I like forced myself to play Uncharted games because I'm like, okay, the story might be worth it. But their gameplay was,
you didn't like awful. Uncharted? I love Uncharted.
God awful. I couldn't stand the gameplay. And then in Last of Us, same thing.
Wait a minute. You call that god awful, but you played South of Midnight and enjoyed it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? So everybody has their own play style. I could not stand those games. But it's like I find I'll stick through it. I bought this stupid platform. Let me at least try these games. Like tried it. Fine, good. I finished them. I think I played all of them, I think. But anyway, so and Last of Us 1, I played through that one. It like kind of kept going. I'm like, can you just finish now already? And then Last of Us 2, I didn't even bother.
And then Last of Us, the first one.
I like Ghost of Tsushima. I thought that was pretty good. Ghost of Yote sounds like it's pretty good. Yep. So like, but that's basically it. Like they don't really have that much. Like, am I going to be sitting there? Oh my God, Soros! Oh my God! No, I don't care. Like whatever, dude. It does not look that good. It's okay. It's okay. Like whatever. It's okay. Right.
You hear
like,
that, Sony guys? Hargeet said,
sorry, but it's
South
just a
of
reality.
Midnight over
How
your
many of you don't like
games?
Well, I didn't say South of Midnight over all of your games. It's like I enjoyed
South of
playing
Midnight
South of
over
Midnight.
Uncharted. Yeah.
The
That's
gameplay
harsh,
probably
man.
was
That's
better.
harsh.
Yeah, the gameplay probably was better. Yeah, actually, I would prefer the gameplay of that one. But putting that aside, they haven't really shown me anything that really makes me say, "Oh my God, I have to have this thing." I just don't care. And if they pull their handful of games, like they're gonna have like 5 games a generation, 10 games a generation, that would not come to PC, like okay, I don't care. I really just don't care.
See,
Like, they're just done for me.
Man. But is it just a Sony
Sorry.
thing, or is this?
It's my hands cannot stand their controller. I cannot play. And if they're not going to put it on PC, then I'm 100% just done with them. I'm not risking my hands over some stupid games. It's just not. It's not worth it to me. So if they want to continue with this stupid controller that they have, good for you. I'm out. And that's just the way it is.
Isn't there third-party controllers that you can buy that with staggered sticks?
I tried when it was there, and I'm like, they don't have anything. So I'm like, fine, I'm just done. You put your games on PC, I'll just play them there if there's anything of interest. And that's a big if. Unfortunately, they're just not putting out games that are really that good. Yeah. I didn't bother with Ragnarok. I'm like, nah. Again, I have so many. I literally have like 100 games in my backlog. I bought like 30 that are sitting in my backlog I haven't even gotten to yet. So like I can just play that for the next 5 years before I even get anywhere. It's like there's just no need. And then Xbox actually does feed me with a bunch of games every year, right? So like the one game.
Well,
on
the one thing I 100% I go to bat for you all the time when it comes to Game Pass for you, because I know you play so many games in fucking Game Pass. Like you guys don't understand. He plays every little fucking game in there, and I'm like, what are you playing today? Oh, Giant Tree and freaking Rainbow Land 2. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck is that?
I just keep installing them and try it. Right. So
I do know you play those games. So you definitely get your money's worth out of Game Pass.
I'm having trouble 100%. Finding time for the Switch. I bought Metroid. I haven't even started it. I got through about a third of Donkey Kong, haven't gone back to it. There's a bunch of other ones that I bought over the time, like Paper Mario, whatever, Origami King. I haven't even started it. Like there's so many games. Like I don't know. I haven't even gotten time to go to the Switch. So it's just tough.
I see you. It's just it's crazy, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, I got to get out of here, guys. I got to start dinner and stuff, but it was great talking. We had a lot of good conversation about this, and again, we're going to have some good conversation next week. I'm going to try to get some other people on the show as well, Hargeet, because I have a lot of fun when we have a lot of people in here. It's not that it's not fun with us two, but man, it's just last week it kind of felt like RDX again. It felt really fun.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
A lot of people enjoyed it too. Anyways, with that said, Hargeet, let everybody know where they can find you and what you're going to be on next.
So I'll be on with Boom tomorrow and 7 p.m. US Eastern, Double Barrel Gaming. Check that out. And I'll be on with C-Money and Doodle on Thursday this week. They'll be doing it Thursday, 8 p.m. US Eastern time on Point for Gamers, and with Web Dave again on Sunday at 7 p.m. US Eastern time. And I did create this nice little thing over here. If you guys want the merch for it, you can go to my site and actually
dead again. Again, we can't figure out what Asha's gonna do that. But
make Xbox great again. We'll so, but anyway, you can go to my site shop.china.us if you want to pick it up. But anyway, we'll see next week. There's gonna be GDC. So by the time we get on, we shall have at least some information coming out. So hopefully we'll get to talk about stuff.
Also, I'm going to try to talk to somebody. I know we can like coordinate something from him, maybe beyond or get some tidbits. Anyways, because he will be there and be getting some info, and he has a lot of exclusive like interviews and stuff. So we got some cool stuff coming from him. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for coming out to the show today, listening to us rant, talk everything about games, and also everybody listening after the fact on Spotify. I appreciate all of you, or wherever you may be listening to this. And until next time, game